What if the emptiness you feel is not because life failed you? What if nothing is truly missing, but your mind has been quietly stealing your days? You wake up each morning, yet never fully arrive. You speak to people you love, yet feel strangely far away. You keep waiting for peace tomorrow, while today slips through your hands. And the most dangerous part is this: it happens silently, so silently that years can disappear before you realize you were never fully living them. Your body was here, but your attention was trapped in the past, arguing with old memories, fearing futures that never came, chasing answers that gave no peace, missing the only place life has ever existed. This moment, tonight, you may discover that your greatest problem was never life itself. It was the mind pulling you away from it. And if you truly understand that, you may reclaim the peace, presence, and life you thought were gone forever. You are alive in body, but missing from your own life. There are people walking through beautiful mornings who never notice the sky. The sun rises softly, the air is fresh, birds are singing, light is touching the streets, yet their eyes are open, and still they do not see. Their body moves through the morning, but their mind is already lost in worry. There are people sitting with those they love who are inwardly absent. Someone speaks to them with care. Someone smiles at them. Someone is trying to share a moment, but they are somewhere else inside themselves, nodding on the outside, drifting on the inside. There are people eating meals without tasting them, listening without hearing, resting without relaxing, smiling without feeling joy. They do all the actions of living, but do not feel the life inside those actions. Their body is present, but their spirit is elsewhere. This is one of the deepest modern wounds: to exist physically while disappearing mentally. Many people think pain only comes from loss, heartbreak, illness, or struggle. But there is another pain that grows quietly every day. It is the pain of never fully arriving in your own life. You may be in the room, yet trapped in memory, replaying what should have happened, what could have happened, what someone said, what you wish you said. The past becomes louder than the present. You may be safe, yet living inside imagined danger. Nothing is wrong right now, but the mind keeps creating future problems and asking you to fear them before they exist. You may be loved, yet too distracted to feel it. Care is around you, but your attention is somewhere else, so even love struggles to reach you. You may have food, shelter, opportunities, and people who care, yet still feel empty. Not because nothing is there, but because your mind is not there to receive what is already given. Life does not only ask for your heartbeat, it asks for your presence. It asks you to feel the water when you wash your hands, to hear the voice of the person speaking to you, to notice the warmth of tea in your hands, to see the evening sky before another day disappears, to feel your own breath and remember that you are here. And many people lose years not because life was cruel, but because they were never fully there to receive it. Days pass, weeks pass, seasons change, people grow older, children grow up, parents become gray, opportunities come and go, and the distracted mind says, "I will be present later," but later becomes another year. The saddest loss is not always losing something outside you. Sometimes it is losing access to your own moments. Sometimes it is standing in the middle of blessings while feeling nothing. Sometimes it is surviving each day without truly touching it. Sometimes it is reaching the end of a season and realizing you were mentally absent for most of it. When you are never where you are, even blessings feel empty. Peace feels distant. Joy feels weak. Love feels unnoticed. Simple moments feel boring, and life starts to seem smaller than it really is. But the truth is beautiful. Your life may not be missing. Your attention is, and the moment attention returns, life begins to open again. Overthinking pretends to protect you, while secretly draining your soul. The mind can be very clever. It often hides your suffering behind the mask of responsibility. It tells you that constant thinking means you care deeply. It tells you that worrying means you are being careful. It tells you that replaying every problem means you are preparing for life. So you trust it. You believe that if you think long enough, hard enough, deeply enough, peace will come. But for many people, peace never comes. Only exhaustion does. This is the hidden danger of overthinking. It pretends to protect you while quietly stealing your strength. It says, think about it one more time. Go over the conversation again. Try to understand every detail. Imagine every possible outcome. Prepare for the worst. Do not relax yet. And because it sounds serious and intelligent, you listen, but notice what happens after hours of this inner work. Your body feels tired. Your chest feels heavy. Your mood becomes darker. Simple tasks feel harder. Joy feels far away. And still, nothing has been solved. Many thoughts are not wisdom. Many thoughts are only loops. The same fear wearing different clothes. The same memory with a new angle. The same worry repeating with a louder voice. The same doubt asking for more attention. Overthinking rarely gives clear answers. More often, it creates deeper confusion. Because when the water is stirred constantly, it cannot become clear. You replay old moments trying to fix what is already finished. You imagine future pain trying to control what has not arrived. You analyze people endlessly trying to feel safe. You question yourself again and again trying to feel certain. But certainty built through endless thinking is fragile. The next thought can break it. This is why overthinkers often feel tired even after doing nothing physical. Their mind has been running all day. Their nervous system has been carrying invisible weight. Their soul has been breathing in noise. There are people who lie in bed exhausted, not from work but from thinking. People who wake up already tired because the mind never truly rested. People who cannot enjoy peaceful moments because the mind turns peace into another problem to analyze. Overthinking also steals trust. You stop trusting life. You stop trusting timing. You stop trusting your own ability to handle what comes. You believe you must mentally control everything before it happens. But no human being was designed to carry that burden. You were not made to predict every future. You were not made to decode every person. You were not made to solve every uncertainty before sunrise. Some things are meant to be lived, not mentally conquered. There is a difference between reflection and obsession. Reflection is calm. It teaches. It reveals truth. It helps you grow. Obsession is restless. It circles. It drains. It makes small things feel huge. It turns one question into 20 more. Wisdom brings relief. Overthinking brings tension. That is how you know the difference. The deepest trap is that overthinking can feel productive. You may look still on the outside, yet feel busy on the inside. But inner movement is not always progress. Sometimes it is just spinning. Sometimes the answer you need is not another hour of thought. Sometimes the answer is silence, a walk, a breath, sleep, prayer, stillness, distance from the problem. A clear mind sees what a crowded mind cannot. And many problems shrink the moment mental noise stops feeding them. So be gentle with yourself. You do not need to solve your whole life tonight. You do not need to answer every fear that knocks on the door of your mind. Some thoughts deserve no meeting. Some questions need no reply. Some worries become weaker when ignored. Real protection is not endless thinking. Real protection is inner steadiness. It is trusting that whatever comes, you will meet it when it arrives, not 10 times before, because overthinking promises safety, but peace begins when you no longer believe every thought asking for your energy. The mind steals today by promising peace tomorrow. The restless mind has a habit that ruins many lives quietly. It rarely says, "Do not live." It says something far more dangerous. It says, "Later. Later you will rest. Later you will enjoy life. Later you will feel peace. Later you will be present. Later you will smile freely. Later you will finally begin." This is how the mind steals whole years without force. Not by attacking you, but by delaying you. It convinces you that peace belongs somewhere ahead of you, that joy is waiting after one more problem is solved, that calm will arrive once every question has an answer, that life can begin when uncertainty disappears. So today becomes a waiting room. You wake up, but do not arrive. You eat, but do not taste. You sit with people, but do not connect. You walk outside, but do not notice the wind, the light, the trees, the sky. Your body is in today. Your mind is negotiating with tomorrow. This is why many people feel strangely empty. They are standing inside precious moments while mentally living somewhere else. The mind says, once I get more money, then I'll relax. Once they text back, then I'll be okay. Once I understand everything, then I'll feel safe. Once life becomes perfect, then I'll be happy. But when one condition is met, another appears. When one hill is climbed, the mind points to another. When one fear fades, a new fear replaces it. The promised peace keeps moving because the mind that creates postponement does not know how to be satisfied. It survives through lack. It feeds on the feeling that something is missing. So even when blessings arrive, it quickly says, not enough. Even when success comes, it says, what next? Even when calm appears, it says, how long will this last? This is why some people reach goals and still feel no peace. They thought the problem was outside, but the thief was internal. The habit of postponing life followed them everywhere. Many people lose beautiful seasons this way. A child grows older while they are mentally absent. Parents age while they are too distracted to notice. Friendships weaken while they are chasing imagined futures. Their own youth passes while they are preparing to live later. And one day they look back with pain, not because life gave them nothing, but because they were too mentally delayed to receive what was already there. The truth is simple and powerful. Tomorrow has never held your peace. Only this moment can hold it. Tomorrow may bring opportunities. Tomorrow may bring change. Tomorrow may bring answers. But peace can only be felt now. Joy can only be touched now. Breath can only be taken now. Love can only be given now. Life can only be lived now. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that craving always points away from the present. It says fulfillment is somewhere else, somewhere later, somewhere beyond this moment. But awakening begins when you stop running toward imagined futures and return to what is already here. The tea in your hands, the breath in your chest, the person before you, the sunlight on the wall, the quiet chance to begin again. You do not need to wait until everything is solved to feel alive. You do not need a perfect future to honor this day. You do not need certainty before allowing yourself peace. Sometimes the most healing sentence is this: nothing is missing from this moment except my attention. So be careful of the voice that always says later. It sounds harmless, but it has stolen countless todays. And life is not built from tomorrows. It is built from todays fully lived. Come back now. This hour matters. This breath matters. This ordinary moment may be more sacred than the future you keep chasing, because one day you will realize the peace you wanted tomorrow was quietly waiting for you today. You suffer once in reality, then 100 times in imagination. Life will bring pain to every human being. No one walks through this world untouched. There will be disappointment. There will be loss. There will be misunderstandings. There will be endings you did not choose. There will be delays that test your patience. There will be moments when your heart feels heavy and your path feels unclear. This is part of being alive. But for many people, the first pain is not what destroys their peace. It is the second pain, the pain created by the mind. Reality may wound you once, then imagination wounds you again and again. A person leaves. That is one pain. But then the mind says, no one will ever love me again. Now suffering has multiplied. You make a mistake. That is one pain. But then the mind says, I ruin everything. Now suffering deepens. Something is delayed. That is one pain. But then the mind says, my whole life is falling behind. Now the burden becomes heavier. Someone looks at you strangely. That is one moment. But then the mind creates 10 stories, 20 fears, 30 explanations, and your body suffers from events that never even happened. This is how many people become exhausted. Not from life alone, but from the mind's endless retelling of life. One event happens outside, 100 versions happen inside. The mind replays the scene at night. It edits the memory. It adds meaning that was never certain. It imagines what others think. It predicts future disasters from one small moment. It turns pain into identity. It turns fear into prophecy. It turns uncertainty into doom. And because the body responds to thoughts as if they are real, your heart races, your chest tightens, sleep becomes difficult, peace feels far away. You sit in a safe room, yet suffer as if danger is present. This is why imagination can become a hidden prison, not because imagination is evil, but because unconscious imagination creates suffering without limits. Reality has boundaries. Imagination often does not. A real problem may last 1 hour. A mental version can last 10 years. A real rejection may come from one person. The mind turns it into rejection from the whole world. A real mistake may be small. The mind turns it into proof that you are broken. This is why two people can face the same difficulty, yet suffer very differently. One feels pain, learns, and moves forward. The other keeps reliving the moment until it becomes part of who they think they are. The event passed, but the story stayed. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering increases when we cling to thoughts, labels, and mental stories. Pain may arise naturally, but the extra layers are often self-created through attachment to interpretation. We do not only feel what happened, we feel what we keep telling ourselves about what happened. This truth is powerful because it means freedom is possible. If imagination can create suffering, awareness can end much of it. The next time pain visits you, pause gently. Ask yourself, what is actually happening right now? And what is my mind adding to it? What is fact? What is fear? What is present reality? What is mental projection? This question alone can save you from years of unnecessary suffering. Maybe the problem is real, but smaller than your mind says. Maybe the wound is real, but healing more than you realize. Maybe the uncertainty is real, but not the disaster your mind predicts. Maybe the pain is real, but it does not need 10 extra stories attached to it. You do not need to deny pain. You do not need to pretend everything is fine. You only need to stop multiplying pain through unconscious imagination. Feel what is true. Release what is invented. Face what is here. Let go of what is not. Because life may hurt you once, do not let the mind hurt you 100 more times. There is enough weight in real pain. You do not need to carry imagined pain too. And many hearts begin healing the moment they learn this. Not every suffering inside you came from reality. Much of it came from the stories built around it. Buddhism reveals that your thoughts are not your true self. One of the greatest causes of suffering is not that thoughts appear in the mind, but that people believe every thought is who they are. A fearful thought comes, and they say, "This is me." A painful memory rises, and they say, "This is my identity." A harsh inner voice speaks, and they assume it is truth. In this way, many people spend years imprisoned by movements of the mind that were never their real nature. Buddhist wisdom offers a deeply liberating truth. Your thoughts are not your true self. They are experiences passing through awareness, not the essence of what you are. They come, they stay for a moment, and they leave. Some return often, some disappear quickly, some are kind, some are dark, some are wise, some are confused. But none of them alone define you. Imagine sitting beside a river and watching leaves float past on the water. Some leaves are beautiful, some are broken, some move slowly, some rush by. Thoughts are like this. They pass through the stream of the mind, but you are not each leaf that floats past. You are the one noticing the river. Many people have never been taught this difference. So when the mind says you are failing, they collapse into shame. When the mind says you are behind in life, they panic. When the mind says no one cares about you, they believe it completely. When the mind says something terrible is coming, they begin suffering before anything has happened. But a thought is not automatically a fact simply because it appears strongly. It is not automatically wisdom simply because it sounds convincing. It is not automatically identity simply because it repeats often. A liar can speak loudly. Repetition does not create truth. The mind is shaped by memory, fear, habit, past wounds, comparison, insecurity, and old conditioning. Sometimes it speaks from wisdom, sometimes it speaks from pain, Sometimes it repeats voices you heard years ago from people who were hurting themselves. Sometimes it creates stories only to protect you from uncertainty. If you treat every thought as sacred truth, you hand your life to a very unstable narrator. Buddhism teaches observation. Sit with the mind, watch it, learn its patterns. Notice how one thought creates another. Notice how fear calls fear. Notice how desire creates restlessness. Notice how anger asks for more anger. Notice how a quiet mind sees clearly, while an agitated mind distorts everything. This practice changes everything because the moment you observe a thought, a space appears between you and it. Before that moment, you were inside the storm. Now you are witnessing the storm. Before that moment, the thought was driving. Now you are in the seat of awareness again. That space may feel small at first, just a breath of distance. But within that breath lives freedom. A thought says, "You will never heal." You notice it. You do not merge with it. A thought says, "Everyone else is ahead of you." You notice it. You do not bow to it. A thought says, "You are not enough." You notice it. You let it pass like weather crossing the sky. This does not mean you will never have painful thoughts again. It means painful thoughts no longer get to define your identity. Clouds may still pass overhead, but they no longer convince the sky that it is broken. Your true self is deeper than mental noise. It is the awareness that remains when thoughts come and go. It is the quiet presence that can witness sadness without becoming sadness, witness fear without becoming fear, witness doubt without becoming doubt. It is the stillness beneath movement, the space beneath sound, the consciousness that notices every changing state. Many people spend their lives trying to improve every thought, control every thought, silence every thought. But the wiser path is often simpler. You do not need to fix each thought one by one. You need to stop mistaking them for yourself. When you stop identifying with every inner voice, compassion grows naturally. You become gentler with your own mind. You understand that thoughts can be wounded, reactive, tired, confused, conditioned. You stop treating every mental sentence as a life command. You start choosing what deserves attention. And this is where healing deepens, because once you know you are not every thought, you stop living at the mercy of passing weather. You stop calling every dark cloud your identity. You stop building a home inside temporary storms. So when the mind speaks harshly, listen carefully but not blindly. When it predicts disaster, breathe before believing it. When it repeats old pain, remember that echoes are not the present. When it tells you who you are, ask whether wisdom is speaking or fear is borrowing your voice. The day you realize your thoughts are visitors and not your essence, a heavy chain begins to break. You no longer need every thought to be beautiful in order to feel peace. You only need to remember that you are the awareness watching them pass. And in that remembering, something sacred returns, the quiet freedom of being larger than your mind. Freedom begins the moment you stop obeying every thought. Many people believe freedom means having no negative thoughts, no fear, no doubt, no inner conflict. They imagine that peace belongs only to those whose minds are always calm and silent. But this is not true. A human mind will produce thoughts the way the sky produces weather. Some days clear, some days stormy, some days uncertain, some days bright. The problem is not that thoughts appear. The problem begins when every thought is treated like an order. This is how many people live without noticing it. A thought says, "Check your phone," they obey. A thought says, "Compare yourself to them," they obey. A thought says, "Worry about tomorrow," they obey. A thought says, "Replay what happened," they obey. A thought says, "You are not enough." They obey emotionally and carry the pain as if it were truth. Slowly, a habit forms. The mind speaks and the body follows. The mind suggests and attention kneels. The mind creates fear and life shrinks around it. This is not freedom. This is unconscious servitude to inner noise. Buddhist wisdom points toward a different path. Not the destruction of thought, but freedom from automatic obedience. Not the ending of the mind, but the awakening of awareness. The moment you can hear a thought without immediately following it, a new life begins. Imagine how powerful this is. A thought says, "Send that angry message right now." You pause. A thought says, "Something terrible is about to happen." You breathe and wait. A thought says, "You must prove yourself to everyone." You smile gently and let it pass. A thought says, "You will never change." You notice the voice and refuse to make it your future. This pause may look small from the outside, but inside it is revolutionary. In that pause, old patterns lose control. In that pause, wisdom has room to enter. In that pause, you remember that having a thought and following a thought are two very different things. Most regret in life comes from thoughts obeyed too quickly, words spoken in anger, decisions made in panic, attachments formed in loneliness, fear believed without question, assumptions acted upon without clarity. A single unexamined thought can lead to years of unnecessary pain, but the opposite is also true. A single unfollowed thought can save years of suffering. You do not text the person who only wounds you. You do not believe the voice that says you are worthless. You do not let one bad day become a story about your whole life. You do not let fear decide where you are allowed to go. Thoughts often arrive with urgency. They say now, now, now. They create pressure. They want instant reaction because reaction keeps them powerful. Wisdom rarely screams, it waits, it breathes, it watches. It does not rush to obey every impulse. This is why stillness is so important. Stillness exposes which thoughts are wise and which are merely loud. When you slow down, you begin to notice that many thoughts are repetitive, childish, exaggerated, dramatic, insecure, or borrowed from old wounds. They lose their authority the moment you truly see them. Stopping obedience does not mean suppressing the mind. It means listening differently. You hear fear without worshipping it. You hear anger without becoming its weapon. You hear desire without becoming its servant. You hear doubt without letting it define your future. There is great dignity in this. You become someone who can feel emotion without becoming controlled by emotion. You become someone who can hear inner noise without mistaking it for guidance. You become someone whose actions come from consciousness rather than compulsion. At first, this practice feels unfamiliar. You may still follow many thoughts out of habit. Be patient. Years of automatic reaction do not disappear in one day, but every time you pause before obeying, you strengthen a new path. Every time you question a fearful thought, you weaken an old chain. Every time you remain present, instead of reacting blindly, freedom grows quietly within you. Soon you notice changes. Less regret, less drama, less exhaustion, more clarity, more steadiness, more self-respect. You trust yourself because you know you are no longer driven by every passing mood. This is real power, not controlling the world, not controlling other people, not forcing the mind to be silent. Real power is the ability to choose what deserves your attention and what deserves to pass unanswered. Some thoughts deserve action, some deserve reflection, many deserve nothing at all. The mature mind learns this difference, so the next time a thought appears and demands obedience, do something simple and sacred. Pause, take one breath, watch it. Ask whether it is truth, fear, habit, or hunger for drama. Ask whether following it will create peace or pain. Then choose consciously, because freedom does not arrive when thoughts disappear. Freedom arrives when they no longer rule you. And the moment you stop obeying every thought, you stop living as a prisoner of your own mind. When mental noise fades, life returns in sacred, simple moments. Many people think peace must arrive through something dramatic. They imagine a perfect relationship, a larger house, more money, total certainty, a new city, or a life with no problems. They believe happiness is waiting inside some future event. Because of this, they overlook the quiet miracles already surrounding them every day. The truth is often much softer than that. Peace does not always enter like thunder. Many times, it returns like morning light, slowly, gently, almost unnoticed at first. When mental noise fades, life begins speaking again. The world was never silent. Your mind was simply louder. For a long time you may have lived inside constant inner commentary, judging everything, comparing everything, predicting problems, replaying memories, rushing through hours, carrying invisible tension into ordinary moments. Even when nothing was wrong, the mind kept creating friction. So simple things felt dull. Food lost its taste. Rest did not refresh you. Conversations felt distant. Nature looked ordinary. Silence felt uncomfortable. Even blessings could not fully reach you because they had to pass through so much noise first. But when the inner storm begins to calm, something beautiful happens. You notice the sound of birds outside your window. You feel warm water on your hands. You watch sunlight move across a wall. You hear sincerity in someone's voice. You taste your tea as if for the first time. You breathe deeply without forcing it. You sit alone without needing escape. You walk slower and feel no need to apologize for it. These moments look small to the distracted mind, but to the awakened heart, they are sacred. This is where many people misunderstand life. They chase extraordinary experiences while neglecting ordinary treasures. Yet most of human peace is hidden inside ordinary things fully noticed. A calm breakfast, a clean room, a quiet evening, the breeze through an open window, the face of someone who loves you, the relief of no longer rushing, the comfort of being enough for one moment. The mind that is addicted to drama calls these things boring, but a healed mind calls them wealth. When noise fades, gratitude becomes natural. You no longer need life to impress you constantly. You begin to appreciate what was always there. Water, breath, light, friendship, rest, another chance. The simple dignity of being alive today. Many people are starving in the middle of abundance because they have lost the ability to notice. They think they need more. Often, they need presence. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering grows when we crave constant stimulation and resist what is plain. We look away from the ordinary while searching for something bigger, brighter, louder. But awakening often begins in the opposite direction. It begins by entering this moment so fully that nothing simple remains simple anymore. The floor beneath your feet becomes support. The breath in your chest becomes a gift. The silence in the room becomes medicine. The cup in your hand becomes warmth. The tree outside becomes wonder. This is not fantasy. It is what life feels like when attention is no longer scattered. Even pain changes in this state. You still have challenges. You still have responsibilities. You still feel sadness sometimes, but the constant extra layer of mental resistance softens. You stop turning every inconvenience into a personal tragedy. You stop demanding that each moment entertain you. You stop fighting reality so much, and because of that, life feels lighter. There is also healing in slowness. When noise fades, you stop racing through your own existence. You answer fewer unnecessary thoughts. You become less interested in proving, chasing, comparing, and explaining. You begin valuing depth over speed, peace over performance, presence over appearance. This can feel strange at first because the world often rewards busyness and distraction, but deep inside, the soul recognizes truth immediately. It knows the difference between excitement and peace. It knows the difference between noise and meaning. Some of the happiest people are not those with the most impressive lives. They are those who can receive simple moments fully. They can laugh without checking what comes next. They can eat without multitasking their mind. They can listen without preparing their reply. They can rest without guilt. They can watch the sky and feel rich. This is sacred living, not because every moment is grand, but because every moment is touched by awareness. So if life has felt dull lately, do not assume life itself is empty. Sometimes beauty has not disappeared. It has only been covered by mental noise. Sit quietly. Put the phone down. Take one slow breath. Look around the room as if you have just arrived on Earth. Listen carefully. Feel the weight of your body being held. Notice what is already enough. This is how life returns, not always through miracles from outside, but through silence within. And when mental noise fades, you discover something that was waiting patiently the whole time. The simple moments were never small. They were holy. The day your attention comes home, your real life begins. Most people think life is measured only by years, money, success, status, or the number of things they collect. But there is another measure that is far more truthful. Life is measured by where your attention lives, because wherever attention goes, your experience follows. What you repeatedly attend to becomes the world you feel. If your attention lives in regret, even a peaceful day feels heavy. If your attention lives in fear, even safe moments feel dangerous. If your attention lives in comparison, even blessings feel small. If your attention lives in fantasy, real life begins to feel dull. If your attention lives in old wounds, every new person must pay for what someone else did. This is why two people can stand in the same room and live in completely different realities. One notices warmth, opportunity, beauty, kindness, and breath. The other notices lack, threat, unfairness, rejection, and what is missing. The room is the same. Life is the same moment. Attention creates the difference. For many years, some people live with attention scattered in 100 directions. A piece of it trapped in the past. A piece of it worrying about tomorrow. A piece of it chasing approval. A piece of it replaying pain. A piece of it comparing with strangers. A piece of it trying to become enough. By evening, they feel drained and do not know why. It is because attention is energy. When your attention is constantly leaking, your spirit feels weak. When your attention is constantly stolen, life feels far away. When your attention belongs to everything except the present moment, you slowly become a stranger to yourself. But there comes a sacred turning point. The day you begin calling your attention home, not all at once, not perfectly, but sincerely, you notice you are lost in fear and gently return. You notice you are replaying old pain and gently return. You notice you are comparing again and gently return. You notice you are mentally living 10 years ahead and gently return. This simple act looks small, but it changes destiny quietly, because each return is a vote for life. Each return is a vote for peace. Each return is a vote for reality over illusion. Each return is a vote for presence over mental exile. Many people wait for a dramatic transformation. They think healing must feel like fireworks. Often it feels more like coming back into the room, back into your body, back into your breath, back into the cup in your hand, back into the conversation in front of you, back into the ordinary day you were too distracted to notice. This is where real life begins. Not when everything is solved. Not when everyone approves of you. Not when the future becomes certain. Not when the past changes. Real life begins when attention returns to what is actually here. The sunlight entering the window, the sound of someone speaking your name, the food before you, the chance to begin again today. The miracle of one more breath. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that suffering often grows when the mind wanders endlessly through craving, fear, memory, and illusion. Freedom begins when awareness returns to this moment without resistance, not because the present is always perfect, but because it is the only place where truth can be touched. You cannot breathe yesterday. You cannot live tomorrow. You cannot love in imagination. You cannot heal in fantasy. You can only do these things here, now. This moment may look ordinary, but it contains your whole life. Many people miss life waiting for bigger moments, yet life keeps hiding inside smaller ones. Washing your face in the morning, hearing rain outside, sitting quietly after a hard day, smiling at someone tired, finishing one honest task, taking one deep breath instead of feeding panic. When attention comes home, these moments become alive again. You stop needing constant stimulation. You stop needing every day to be impressive. You stop asking life to perform for you. You begin receiving what is already present. There is also deep dignity in reclaimed attention. It means the world no longer owns your mind so easily. Every headline does not control your mood. Every opinion does not enter your heart. Every memory does not get to reopen your wounds. Every fear does not become your future. You become steadier, clearer, kinder, less divided inside, and perhaps for the first time in a long time, you feel like your own life belongs to you again. So if you feel lost, do not ask only where you should go. Ask where your attention has gone. If you feel empty, do not assume life has nothing to offer. Ask whether your presence has been absent. If you feel far from peace, do not chase 10 more solutions tonight. Begin with one return. Look around the room. Feel your feet on the ground. Take one slow breath. Listen to the silence beneath the noise. Notice that you are here. That is enough to begin, because the day your attention comes home, your real life begins. And perhaps the life you were searching for was never far away. It was waiting patiently in the moments you had not yet entered. So now, before this video ends, stay with me for one final moment. You may have spent years living inside your mind, years worrying, replaying, comparing, fearing, delaying, chasing peace in places that could never hold it. Years being physically present, but emotionally far away. Years watching life pass through your hands while your attention was somewhere else. But listen carefully, nothing is wrong with you. You were not broken. You were distracted from your own life, and distraction can end. Even now, in this very moment, something beautiful is possible. You can return, not tomorrow, not when everything is fixed, not when the mind becomes perfect. Now, to this breath, to this room, to the beating heart inside your chest, to the quiet fact that you are still here, still alive, still capable of peace, still capable of beginning again. The past may have taken time. Overthinking may have stolen seasons. Pain may have made you distant from yourself. But this moment is untouched. This breath is new. This second has never been lived before. Let it be the place where your life starts again. You do not need to rebuild everything tonight. You only need one honest return, one slow breath, one softened shoulder, one moment of no longer running, one decision to be here. And if tears rise, let them rise. Sometimes tears are not weakness. Sometimes they are the soul washing dust from its eyes. You have chased enough. You have carried enough. You have thought enough. Now maybe it is time to live. Maybe it is time to feel sunlight again, to hear laughter again, to taste food again, to sit in silence without fear, to meet yourself with kindness, to stop treating your mind like a prison and start using it like a tool. Remember this gently. Your life was never hiding in the future. It was waiting in the present. It was waiting in ordinary mornings, in quiet evenings, in unnoticed breaths, in moments just like this one. So when this video ends, do not rush away. Sit for a few seconds. Look around you. Feel the miracle of being here. And know this with all your heart. You are not too late. You are not too lost. You are not too damaged. You are simply being called home. And home has been within you the whole time.